Yes, my name is Kalu Moses Obu. There is something I want to talk on. It's still a matter concerning the DOS, the expired DOS or the ex-DOS that Mazen Namdekalo have retrenched from office. The reason I want to talk about them is because there is a video I made some time ago where I told them to go home and relax and stop distracting the Biafrans, because what they are trying to make us believe is not true, and it cannot stand because it is not true. But I'm making this video now because many of them tried to smuggle into my comment section and try to see if they can continue from there to brainwash people to believe that Mazen Namdekalo is this or that. Thereby, or because of that, I want to make this video to give them a little breakdown why I said they should stop convincing us that they are more corrupt than Mazen Namdekalo, if at all. This little book in my hand is where I have documented few things that I want to speak on to really let them know that we knew exactly what they are doing. Now, what can I title this video? I feel very comfortable to title this video "The ex-DOS are corrupt and have compromised." What does it mean? It means they are working against the actualization of Biafra, the very thing that made them to be instituted into office. Then compromised in the sense that they have taken things from Nigerian government, as in there are people who are controlling them from the Nigerian government, instructing them on what to do to make sure that this issue of Biafra that Mazen Namdekalo have started again and have gone very far about it is being thwarted. Number one, or A, I want to talk about Simon Ekpa's rejection. These people are the people that rejected Simon Ekpa when Simon Ekpa started pushing for the agitation of Biafra and for the release of Mazen Namdekalo, and became very popular and was everywhere in every corner of the world, pulling crowd, instructing them on what to do, and telling Nigerian government things on their faces why they should release Mazen Namdekalo and why Mazen Namdekalo have not done anything actually. These people rejected him, and one of the things they leveraged on to reject him is to carry a propaganda that he was never a member of the IPOB. When they found out that he is a member of the IPOB, they began to carry the propaganda that he has not taken an oath or he have not sworn an oath with the IPOB. But at least today we have seen their activities, them that has taken the oath. We have seen how far they have gone or how far they have made mockery of the oath they took. And the one who have not taken the oath have actually worked faithfully. Then B, Simon Ekpa's false witness. It is these people, this ex-DOS, that instituted people who moved and went to Finland to bear false witness against Simon Ekpa before his conviction. They did the same thing to Mazen Namdekalo. But before then, we did not know they were the people who were doing them. Then number C, Mazen Namdekalo's agreement with the DOS. Mazen Namdekalo, to some extent, knew he is going to be arrested, or he might be arrested someday. But there is something that he instituted, or he convinced, and they had an agreement with the DOS that if Nigerian government any day touched me again, or try to rearrest me for any reason at all. This and this and this and this is the instruction I want you people to carry out or to dish out on air, so that everybody, every Biafran citizen will act on that. That thing was not actualized. They were never carried out. And assuming they were carried out, or that instruction were dished out, and the actions were carried out, the condition of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu wouldn't have been the way it is today. So they were strategically working for his downfall and for the downfall of Biafrans. Then number D, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's rejection and propaganda. Content of the propaganda is what I want to talk about. Now, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has been convicted. They rejected him in the prison, the people who are supposed to be seen to his welfare, because what they are doing now means that they have rejected him. And they didn't stop there. They began to carry out all manner of propaganda to tarnish his image, to make sure that the man we know is no longer the person me and you know anymore. While they were struggling to do that, they are finding out that the Biafrans are not believing them. Why do Biafrans refuse to believe them? This is what I'm going to be finding, going to be making sure that I bring it to your notice. But before I do that, let me break down the major objects of the propaganda. They said money, that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu eats money. He have eaten money of the IPOBs. And before this time, they have not told us. This is why we refuse to believe them. Before this time, that they were never injected from the office. They have not told us before now that the Mazen Nnamdi Kanu we know have eaten all the money in IPOB. And the IPOBs that are under their administration, they have not come to tell us that IPOB's money has been tampered. They have never made any account about money. Then we found out that this money has been eaten by Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Before now, they are only saying it on the air. There is no evidence of that. And they want us to believe that. Then number 2, property. They now believe that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu went to Kenya because of one property or another that he has been buying in Kenya, both lands and houses. Then, is there anybody that his money is missing? Let's assume that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu went to Kenya to buy property. Does it mean that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, even though he is fighting for our Biafran freedom, does it mean that he doesn't supposed to do any business on his own that can earn him money? Or the type of business that we want, or the money we want being used to buy a landed property? Or is anybody money? Listen, is anybody looking for his money? So I don't know what is the problem. Is anybody looking for his money among these people? So it is Mazen Nnamdi Kanu now that has taken the money to go and buy property in Kenya. Then now they bring about issue of women. This thing is more or less a lifestyle. Money, property, and women. They shouldn't have brought about all these things. Why? This is his personal lifestyle. The lifestyle we should be focused on is, has he dropped the agitation? Has he compromised with Nigerian government and took millions of money in dollars and oil well that he has many times been promised for if he can withdraw his agitation for the Biafra? Has he done that? Or is it the same Biafran agitation that has kept him in illegal detention, from illegal detention to illegal sentencing or imprisonment? That is the question. Every of us who are young men likes women. Don't pretend about that. And especially we, the Africans, we are not cultured. Our mindset are not wired like the Westerners who believe in one man, one wife. We are more flexible to women. A young man is not entitled to one woman. And in as much as the age of the girl is up to 18 years, he didn't owe you any explanation. That is his lifestyle. So bringing all these things this time around shows that these people have been waiting for him for something. But unfortunately, they got that thing, but they didn't get it completely. And what is that thing? They were looking for a way to bring him down. That is why they sponsored his extradition, gave all the manner of information before he was extradition from Kenya. Then down here, they were looking for every means to make sure that he is being sentenced. But after being sentenced, he didn't allow them to occupy his position to now bring down properly the agitation of Biafra, and to now use all manner of propaganda to squander them and really eat their money. So he didn't give them the opportunity. That's why they began to attack him. Let me make a second video for this. Thank you.